It's where I started. I remember sitting in that seat, all tarped up, minus 30 out. And you're sitting there all tarped up to keep the heat in the cab. And of course you see there's no windows in there. In the summer you don't got air conditioning. You just eat dust, and you have your sandwich and the doors are eating sand. And that's the way it is. Born and raised in Fort Mackay. Never did finish high school. Grade 9 the furthest I went. I'm very proud of it because I live in the trap line with my parents and grandparents. That's what I know and that's what I learned, hard work. I started this business in 1998 with one piece of equipment, a D6D dozer, 1978.
David came to us one day, he said, I want to do something for myself. I want to start my own company.
I was always impressed with his bluntness and his honesty and his work ethic. I'm not trying to make out he's perfect because he is not perfect, but when he works, and he's a fantastic operator. So I guess I trusted him. I saw something in him that he wanted to be a somebody. He had drive.
That's how it all began. And from there, no looking back. I mean, 25 years later, look where we're at here. With one piece of equipment, and today, 400 piece equipment.
David, with the help of a few people, got himself to a certain level. And then very luckily and very fortunately, he married Nicole. And she raised him up. You know that song? You raised me up. She raised him up to a higher level.
I was born in Fort Smith in the Northwest Territories and grew up and was raised in Fort McMurray in the Wood Buffalo region. Well, I'm the eldest of 4 daughters. I had a stay-at-home mom. Spent the first 5 or 6 years on a trap line. I have little memories of it and great memories of the stories that my mom and dad tell about growing up on the trap line.
All we had is a little tent for a wall. We had a wall below it and an insulated floor. But it was like sleeping outside. You get up in the morning, everything would be froze. And so she wanted a bottle, and her mother grabbed her bottle and gave it to her. And she was getting mad, and finally she threw it down, so Brenda picked it up, turned it on, it's froze solid.
My mom and dad were very much a part of the organization from the early days. Actually, it was because of them that we were able to grow the organization.
And when she called me, she said, Dad, could you think you could come and help us? And I said, well, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And I hung up the phone and I thought to myself, what is there to think about? That's my daughter. So I called her back and I said, okay, when do you want me there? How about next week? I said, okay. And they said, well, what's it like having your daughter for a boss? She's been my boss since she was that high, I said. And she still is.
I met the Bouchers, well, a number of years ago, went to school with Nicole way back when. You know, they want to truly make you better, not just better people, but better in business. I think they take a real niche approach to their business and how they drive growth inside of the Bouchier footprint.
Right now we have 2 streams of business, the civil contracting and the facility maintenance. So often we would get a contract and we would hear, well, they got it because they're Indigenous. So we worked really hard to break down those roadblocks and those barriers and to become a business that stood on its own because it was a quality service, it was safe, it had a great team, and it was a company that you could rely on. And many years later, up until just a few years ago, I really started to look at where do we go next as an organization and how do we create a sense of purpose for the people that work within this organization. And I think I was on a bit of a journey myself when it comes to embracing the Indigenous culture. Really important that there was a sense of pride in our culture. Whether you're Indigenous or not, you could speak to it. You could talk about the 7 sacred teachings, which is the foundation of our value system within the organization. And from there, it just grows.
I've actually known Mostly Nicole for over 25 years and was able to watch her grow from a young woman starting school at the college right through to the entrepreneurial success that she is right now. Yeah, I think there's a lot of legacy that we're going to see coming out of Dave and Nicole's philanthropy, their business acumen, and their whole national spirit. When we start to see that kind of success, it does allow for other success to come.
He was the model that you could become a businessman, that you could become a somebody. And that was a model for the rest of that community, that I or other people couldn't have had the same impact. The other young people, they started looking, well, if he can make it, I can make it.
It's like we built a school, we built an elders long-term care facility, a drop-in center for the elders, a daycare center, a youth drop-in center, an arena, a school, paved highways in the community.
Again, to start so small and then to continue to work, whether behind the ledger or not, you've always found a way to deliver, not just for yourselves and your family, but for so many members in this community and beyond.
You know, I think that both Dave and Nicole operate from a very human point of view. They are friends, and they are they have a loving nucleus family. And so they really do represent most of us, and we can see ourselves in them. You can see that they're striving for more, and they don't have to, but they do. When they continue to give forward of themselves, I think it's very enticing to other people. It's very attractive, and it makes them warm and human, and we want to be together with people like that.
But at the end of the day, I hope more than anything else that Dave and I have taught our kids about hard work and taught our kids about values. I hope they're able to say that, you know, mom and dad were role models to all of us and taught us everything that Indigenous people could do in the business community.
You know, starting a business, and if you want to be successful, you gotta work. You gotta go.
I think Indigenous people have so much to offer, and I think we're a great example of what that offering can look like. And I think entrepreneurs kind of make the economy and make the world go around, and there's no reason why Indigenous people cannot play an important integral role in that. I think one thing about both David and I and our organization is we don't stand still very long. We're always looking for change. We're always looking for a way to better ourselves. I always say to anyone that works alongside us that we don't compare ourselves to anybody else. We don't compare ourselves to any other contractor in the region. We compare ourselves to ourselves, and we need to always be the best version of ourselves as an organization.